73855. What does that mean? Well, he says that 7% of communication is verbal, 38% of communication is tone, and 55% is body language / nonverbal communication. So you know what that means? It does not matter what you say. It's how you say it and how you carry yourself. That's all that matters when it comes to communication. If you say something right and you behave correctly, that's 93% of the communication battle. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Uncle Carlton, co-host of the Two Black Kings podcast. Xavier, what's up with you, man?
What's good, kings and queens? My name is Xavier Greer. I'm also the co-host of the Two Black Kings podcast. Thank you for joining us this week.
The Two Black Kings podcast seeks to inspire a generation to equip themselves with tools to navigate life. We will be discussing topics such as financial literacy, pop culture, and relationships from the perspective of two Black kings.
Here on the Two Black Kings podcast, we want to bring you different perspectives from some of the highest achievers within their fields. While the guests we have on the show do not reflect the ideas of the co-hosts nor the companies we work for, we believe in providing you with the knowledge, tools to take your life to the next level.
Before you do anything, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Send it out to at least 5 friends and follow us on Instagram at Two Black Kings.
All right, let's get into this week's episode.
And what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Uncle Carlton, back with another podcast. Xavier, what's good with you, bro?
Man, you already know I've had a quite a few days where I've just been kicked down. That's what it feels like.
Hey, bro, we about to be in Vegas, so it don't even matter.
Man,
for Friday and Saturday, I'm acting a damn fool. I don't even care.
Yeah. I found a couple places we can go to drink and stuff, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I was looking at that Fat Tuesday joint. That's somewhere where I want to be. 100%. That's somewhere where I want to be.
100%. But yeah, bro, it's things are going like better than they're going okay. I told you the story before that the manicurist really chopped a whole chunk out of my thumb.
Yeah,
so
bro. I can't believe she did something like that. That would have had. She would have had me.
I should have roundhouse.
Bro, on God.
But
yeah, we're going to Vegas this week just because it's my birthday. Turning 26 on March 11th. So
yes, sir. What a horns
at? Yes, sir. Oh, wrong one. Where the?
I didn't even hear that, John. It's all good.
You didn't even hear it? Nah. Oh my God, here we go with this shit.
But anyway, so I just wanted to start off with the King of the Week. So actually, this week we would like to recognize we are in the month of March, so it's the start of International Women's Month, and so as a part of International Women's Month, I just want to shout out all the lovely ladies, the role models in our lives. So. Yeah, this one's out to the ladies, queens of the week.
Yeah, special shout out to my mom. We're gonna have her on a guest on the last show on Friday. It's the finale. So shout out to her. We're actually going to a women's empowerment conference in Vegas. So hopefully we meet some beautiful ladies there that we can, connect with. So.
Connect with.
yeah. It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a great time. I love that women have the power that they have now. I think they've made the world a better place. It's a lot different than what men are used to, but I think we can adjust if we just use the right precautions and learn the right knowledge. So congratulations to all the women that fought hard to get to where you're at, and congrats to all the women who are fighting currently to continue to succeed. We love that. Anyways, moving on to the King of
the Book of the Week.
Oh, is it the Book of the Week? Okay,
yeah.
Let's go with the Book of the Week.
So, Book of the Week, you have How to Talk to Anyone. Oh, I love this book. So, the topic of the week is more on navigating social situations, talking to people, networking. So that's all can be under one umbrella. So what you think about it?
Bro, if you read this book, you don't have to ask us any questions because
Mhm.
this book literally, I mean, I have a lot of stuff highlighted in the book, but I read this while I was in Rome last year, and literally anything that if you're struggling with just going up and have a conversation with people, this book will solve your problem because it
Mm.
has legitimate ways of how to approach people and how to keep a conversation going and when to stop talking and how to seem like a person that people want to talk to. I think
Mm.
that's really the most important part of this book. It not only kind of highlights what communication is to different individuals, but it kind of tells you how you need to act and what you need to do for people to want to come and talk to you. And
Yeah.
so a
Yeah.
lot of people do struggle with figuring out what should I say to this girl, what should I say to this guy. And if you read this book, I said it last week in the podcast about going and, commenting on the accessory, got that straight from this book and has worked
Mm-hmm.
every single time and it will continue to work into perpetuity. So perpetuity. So if you're want to learn how to communicate effectively with men and women, then I recommend reading that book and just let me know
Yeah,
how you think
facts.
about it.
And we also, just because we went pretty long last week just on credit wars, we started geeking out and started just dropping you knowledge. It was hella knowledge on last episode.
Hella
So
knowledge.
if you're listening to this week's episode and you haven't heard last week, please go back. But another book that we talked about was How to Win Friends and Influence People. So we'll also be referencing from the two books today, just on like, because I think that was the book that really got me into one, networking with companies, how to get a job, and then two, just how to like gain friends. Like people love to talk about themselves. So it was a couple
Mm-hmm.
of tips that I got from the book that I'll share when we get to the topic. But yeah, absolutely love those books. Love networking. Love
Yeah,
connecting.
well, with those two books, I haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People, but it's on
Mm,
my book list. I'm sure the tag team with How to Talk to Anyone and How to Win Friends and Influence People
yeah,
will not only have me talking to a wall, but I'll be able to create, actually meaningful relationships, and that's really what the
facts,
goal is. So,
facts.
whew, am I tripping? Golly.
Yeah,
So let me preface this by saying I'm not going to say any names. I'm never going to say any names in Am I
yeah.
Tripping?
Please don't
By the way, I'm not going
protect
to
the
say any names.
innocent.
Protect the innocent. But really, the Am I Tripping is I'm gonna combine the Am I Tripping with the questions
With
from
the
the books
question,
because I
okay,
think they go hand in hand.
okay.
So from JC, do you get rejected by women often, and if so, how do you handle it?
Mm,
So from looking at my DMs and some of my requests and some of the comments on YouTube, sometimes I think people think that I'm not a normal man and
mm-hmm.
that I never get rejected or I just have a lot of successful women. I'm here to squash that because that's just completely and utterly not true. I
Mm.
might be an attractive man, Xavier might be an attractive man, but we're not like exempt from the BS of dating. Like we're just
Yeah,
not.
that's true.
For me, if I talk to 10 women, I'll probably get 2 of them. So I'm going to be shooting 20%
Okay.
from the field.
Okay, you ain't got to lie to the people. You
I'm
ain't got
not
to lie,
lying.
bro.
I
Rashad's
promise you
shooting
I'm not.
50%. At least he's shooting at least
I'm
50% from
not.
the bottom,
And
bro.
that's the thing. And this is the wrong view. Like people
Yeah,
think I'm shooting
it's a
50% from the
misconception.
field, but I'm really more 20%. But I will preface this by saying I'm shooting only 3-pointers. Like I'm not shooting mid-range
Yeah, and
jumpers.
you also shooting a lot. It's kind of like how Curry, like if you go 12 for 24 from three, like it's low key pretty good because you're still
Yes.
50%. But
Right.
it's so that's what we should say. Rashad, he has a very high percentage, but also because he tries a little bit more. So like he'll have that 12 for 24 now where he's slick shooting 50%, but like 12 threes
Right.
is
I will
you
go
gonna
on a
take that.
streak where I get multiple bad bitches, and that
Yeah,
has happened. But I
yeah,
will say, like, I think about a year or two ago, I really when I got into kind of past that like red pill rage stage,
yeah.
I told myself that I was only going to talk to bad bitches, and so that's kind of why
Have
my
to.
percentage has gone down. But anyways, do I get
Hold on, hold on,
rejected?
hold
The
on,
answer
hold
is
on.
yes.
That's an important thing though. That's an important
Okay.
thing that you just said about how like you are elevating the amount of women, and so you're not having as much success. That's
Correct.
crazy.
Correct. Correct.
Dang. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that
And,
that
and
can
the
make
reason
it.
why I'm doing it is because like I don't want to go into the cliche, I know my worth, I know my value, because that's not really what it is at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just personally for me, I've gotten used to, like, my last girlfriend was very, very, very beautiful. The one
Mm-hmm.
before that was beautiful, etc. So I've gotten used to a certain caliber of
Yeah,
woman,
right.
and I'm pretty much not gonna get lesser than what I've already gotten because I've already gotten it. So it's just
Yeah.
like,
So you got to go up.
and
Yeah, you can't.
right. And the thing, and the difference between men and women, because women say this a lot, I've gotten this guy, so why would I settle for less? It's because I've actually dated these women in long term relationships. You women haven't dated these men in long term relationships. You've just gotten
Correct,
sex.
bro.
So there's a difference
Correct.
there.
Very big
So
difference.
yeah. So have I gotten rejected? The answer is yes. Do I get flaked on? The answer
Oh,
is yes.
my goodness.
And I will preface this by saying, am I tripping? So this girl, she just broke up with her boyfriend, right? We've been
Mhm.
cool for about a year. She was dating this guy for 6 months. So before she was dating the guy, we were seeing each other for about 6 months. And then she got a boyfriend. We didn't see each other for 6 months. As soon as they broke up, she hit me up and she said, I miss you as a friend. It was just friendly.
Miss you as a friend.
Yeah, I
My
just miss
God.
you as a friend. And I really want to, establish this relationship with you again. And so I was like, okay, like I'll drop wisdom because one of the reasons why she's like this is because instead of just providing dick or just providing a surface level friendship, I actually went deeper
Right.
and like challenged her mindset, and
Yeah.
she became a better person from that. And so I think she was missing that. And so she hit me up. She was like, "Oh, if there's time, can I come to Austin and we could just link up and just chop it up?" And I was like, "Sure, I'm cool. Like this weekend, I'm not really doing much. I just got a hoop in the morning, but other than that, I'm not really doing much." She was like, "All right, bet.
Okay.
I'm gonna come this weekend and we're gonna hang out." I was like, "Okay, cool." Friday comes. This is supposed to be Saturday. Friday comes. She hits me. She's like, "Are we still good for tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah, nothing has changed." Because I don't just text women just to text them. So like she had
Smart.
said that on like last week, and I just didn't text her for the whole week because I've been busy. But
Right.
she hit me on Friday. She was like, "We still cool for tomorrow?" I was like, "Yes, we are." And so Saturday came, and she was supposed to come that morning or whatever. And it was like 11 o'clock, and I texted. I was like, "Are you still coming?" Because I'm trying to plan out my day. Because I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And she says, "Let me read the text," because it was just so completely and utterly
Bro.
ridiculous to me. Completely and utterly ridiculous.
let's re-emphasize that she was the one that
She was the
initiated.
one. I
Like,
said, "Do you want to spend?" No, I said, "Are you still coming?" She said, "I actually can't. Long story short, I got arrested and I'm not allowed to leave. Blah blah till my first court date."
bro. Backstory on this: I have told this man time and time again to leave this woman alone.
Yeah, he did tell me that. And you know what the worst part was? Like, I'm just scrolling Instagram, probably like 6 o'clock that night. She at the gym.
Like,
I'm like, and I responded with, "Okay." I didn't even want to know the whole story. So really, and the answer is yes. But am I tripping for still talking to her and still trying to rekindle things? The correct answer is yes.
bro, absolutely,
And
bro.
just for future reference for my guys out there, you never want to really get with a girl that just broke up with a boyfriend. You never want to be that
Bro,
person.
bro,
You go ahead and save yourself the time and just don't do it.
bro.
Just don't do it.
I am so glad that you brought that up because I was about to answer the whole "Do you get rejected by women often?" So, in my experience, and what Rashad has said about messing with women that have recently, broke up with their boyfriends, I will tell you firsthand, do not. That is the first red flag. If a girl has said within the past six, really it's gotten to a point where it's like the past 2 years, like one, have you broke up with him? And two, are you still in contact with him? Because if any of those are correct and if she's him and humming, do not even go for it. Because nothing.
Don't even do it, bro.
One thing
Just
I
don't
found
do it.
out is that nothing. There is no man and there's no amount of game that can overcome history. When you have history with a girl, put in years, and she has memories of you, you can't do
That's
it
a
unless
fault,
you have
bro.
an insurmountable amount of money. that you can just be, tricking left and right. And even then, you don't even want to do that. Like,
No,
we have
because
that
she's
much.
in love with the money, not you. So it's
Yeah. So, yeah, highly discouraged. Yeah. Because it's going to come back to bite you. You end up just going to be the rebound guy that she just needs to get over. Yeah.
man.
You don't want to be that guy. So,
I
yeah.
just can't believe like we've both been in relationships or been in situationships where we're messing with a girl that just got out of a relationship. And how did that end for both of us?
It has never worked.
It never
Like,
worked, and we have nothing to show for
yeah.
it. We just
Yeah.
have a lot of wasted time.
I have not. I have not like found a situation where I was like, "Oh my goodness, you just broke up with your boyfriend," and that shit just worked out completely fine.
Bro,
It's never worked. So yeah, red flag number one. But yeah, people do get rejected. I want to go back to that point that Rashad said.
yeah.
Like, I feel like now we're at a point where we have to reject a good amount of women because
Mhm.
of what you said earlier. We're making our circle so small, and like we've gotten used to a certain level of women. And so
Mhm.
when you have beautiful women that have their own money and that actually have a sense of humor, it's hard. It's hard because those are few and far in between. And when you get them, you just gotta feel it out. That's the best thing I can do. Because if she has, boyfriend issues or ex boyfriend issues, then it's automatically you gotta clip that.
Right.
No matter how
And
funny she is, no matter how cool she is, yeah, you just gotta clip it.
man, and to reiterate your point, because I don't think people really get it, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
really harp on it. So please, if you're listening to the podcast, listen to me
please.
close. I'm gonna get close to the mic. When you're dealing with women, if you're a man, you should expect to get rejected multiple times and you should expect to get flaked on in the now modern dating market. There is never going to be a time where, well, there might be. There is very, very, very few and far between will there be a time where you talk to a woman and everything just goes smoothly.
Bro, marry that woman. Hurry up
Bro, just
and
marry
marry that
her.
woman, bro.
Especially if you're in your 20s,
Oh my
it
god,
just
bro.
probably won't happen. If you're talking to women that are above an 8, it definitely won't happen. It just definitely won't
Because
happen.
then you're competing with people in the league. You're
We're
competing with
competing with rappers, NBA
yeah.
players, NFL players. I mean, I seen a girl actually story today. I'm on her close friends or whatever.
Mhm.
And Lil TJ was in her DMs.
That's ridiculous, bro.
And you're just like, bro, like and for me, I don't care because I'm doing my own thing.
Right.
But like, why would you choose to compete with that? Why would you do that when you could
Yeah,
do other things with your
you
life?
set yourself up for failure.
So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Do I get rejected? Yes. How do I handle rejection? I personally do not care, and I do not take that shit personally at all
Keep it
because
moving,
it
bro.
really doesn't have anything to do with me at the
Keep
end
it
of the day.
moving.
Period. Okay, so now we get into the topic how to navigate social situations. And like Xavier said, we wanted to do this last week, but we got so into the credit stuff that we kind of pushed it to this week because I think this is a super important topic
Yeah, for sure.
and something that you're really going to want to listen to because
Yeah.
we're going to define a lot of concepts in the modern dating market
Mhm.
that has been floating around, but really no one has really defined yet. And so we're going to start with a reaction video from the Godfather himself, Kevin Samuels. R.I.P. to the
R.I.P., bro.
R.I.P. to the Godfather. Hold on, let me share
Mhm.
my screen real fast. So we back in. We have me and Xavier have not watched this video, so this is going to be a very
I'm
very
scared.
candid. Yeah, this is going to be a very very candid reaction. So we're going to watch this.
I said me with dreads. I'm asleep. Okay.
That's why
I'm
I wanted you
interested.
to react to it. This is what
Okay.
CJ sent us.
Men. Everybody's welcome, in particular, millennials and zennials, okay? Last night, Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson did a show with Steve the Dean Williams and said black men need to cut their hair if they want to work for white people, if they wanted to move up the corporate ladder. And we're going to get into it. When I was an entry-level manager, I hired 16 people. When I was a national account manager, I had 12 direct reports. I've been a pre-IPO stockholder in companies. See, what I'm talking about is a lot of stuff that I never hear guys on YouTube talk about. Entry-level dudes. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm an image consultant and a corporate image consultant, meaning right now I work work with companies who have a corporate brand, and that's what sits at the top of anything for a company. Black men, if you want to move up into upper management, you are going to have to cut your dreads. You're going to have to become clean cut and represent the brand. See, a lot of black brothers think this is selling out. No, it's called buying in. This stream
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Interesting.
Xavier, I'm gonna let you answer that one first, and I'm gonna piggyback it with something that with my own opinion
Okay.
because I think that
That
was a
is
pretty dope video.
so one of the things I can appreciate about this video is that it has brought up an idea in our society and our black culture that has got a lot of like talk, like how we wear our hair. So Rashad has known me ever since I've been in eighth grade. I had the high top, like I had many fros, like different. I'm always expressing myself through my hair. And so my first reaction to the whole video is it depends on who you want to work with. If you love the validation of white people and like want to work with them, then I can say from firsthand, just working with them, going to a predominantly white high school and PWI college, like they are looking for the clean cut image of what they think black people should look like. So if you're trying to go to that route, then I mean, sure, he's right. But there are plenty of people like let's just the number one dude that comes to my mind is Jay Z. You've seen his hair. His
Hmm.
hair low key gross, but nobody's gonna tell him anything because he's Jay Z. He has the knowledge, he has the experience, and he has the money to back up anything that he can do. So it's just like if you think
Lil
that
Wayne
sure,
too.
if yeah, Lil Wayne, yeah, we can go down the list. But if you
Hmm.
think that there is one part of yourself, let's just forget hair. If you think there's one part of yourself that you need to fix in order to be accepted and in order to increase your value within society, then you are putting too much weight on that one little thing. Like you don't need, a fresh fade to be in management. Like you can have any haircut that you want, just as long as you have the knowledge and you have the experience, and sometimes the money to back it up. Like it doesn't matter what you look like at the end of the day. So
Hmm.
that's my
Okay,
opinion.
let me answer this question. So when I was younger, I always wanted to like grow my hair out, get cornrows because of Allen Iverson specifically. I wanted to either be bald or get cornrows. When my dad was like, "You can't do it," my mom was like, "You can't do it," for this specific reason of being
Mhm.
clean cut. So my entire life, I either had a high top fade or I got a fade with waves now, and so I understand where Kevin Samuels is coming from when he says clean cut because, like Xavier said, if you are going to a PWI, if you are going to a predominantly white institution or in a corporate world, which is predominantly white, they do tend to feel more comfortable around individuals that are clean cut. Now,
Yes.
let me back up. When I grew my beard out, one thing that my mom always told me was like, you need to cut your beard
Yeah.
shorter just because you're not clean cut. And I said, look, mom, I'm not going to lie. I didn't even expect to grow this beard. I don't know where it came from.
Oh
But
God.
now that it's here, it has become a part of my identity. And
Yeah.
if I were to cut my beard for the acceptance of white people or
Yeah.
for the corporate image,
Yeah.
I would be going against my morals.
Yes.
And if I go against my morals, then I'm selling myself for money.
Right.
I'm selling my soul for money, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds extreme, but just hear me out. If you do anything that goes against your morals for money, I think that's selling your soul for money, like in my personal opinion. So if I were to do that just to get, a promotion or something, I don't think it's worth it because I know money is a tool and I'm not going to sell my life out for something that's only a tool.
Right.
If it gets to the point where I can't progress because I have a beard, even if the beard is clean cut, then I don't need to be working for that organization. And you know what I need to do? I need to get my lazy ass up and go start my own company.
Yes, bro.
That's what I need to do.
Yes,
And
bro.
so, in response to this Kevin Samuels video, there is truth to it. No lie, there's truth to it. And we're going to
Mhm.
talk about it. And this is why we have it playing because we're going to talk about how to make people feel more comfortable around you. And I think that's an important part when it comes to the corporate world. But if you are going against your morals by cutting your hair, cutting your beard, or covering up a part of your identity, then I don't think it's ever worth it. I don't think
Facts.
it's ever worth it.
And
So,
I also have another because I actually have a small cousin that he has had that kind of problem where he will want to wear his hair a certain way, and he actually like couldn't go back because he had a hair like in a certain style.
oh,
So
okay.
this is what I would say, because you have to start somewhere. And this is what I have to say. So whether it be, you're trying to get into the business world or you're trying to get into the music industry, there is a certain level of like care that you have to come with. Like
100%.
you can see now, like I got my hair retwisted. Like I
Right.
always have, usually like I'm gonna get my line up probably like in 2 days, but usually like I'll have my beard lined up. So like it's innate in me to just look good and to look well presented. So there's never
100%.
gonna be a point to where like my hair is all over the place and I'm just like, got hair everywhere and coming to the
Mm-hmm.
office. Like that would
Mm.
never happen just
Yeah,
because of
exactly.
how I want to present myself. And
Exactly.
so at the end of the day, like you should want to present yourself in the best light, no matter what it is. So like even if you want to have like dreads or whatever Jay Z got, like if it's lined up, like it at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like you look clean cut.
You look clean.
So
And I'm really glad you said that because that's really the most important part. Presenting yourself in a way that's clean. And that projects me perfectly into my point for the topic of the week.
mm,
So we already talked about how to talk to anyone. That's the book
mm,
of the week. And what it talks about is how communication is rarely verbal. So when you walk into the room, your first impression, you haven't even talked to anybody. So we're not even talking about communication in the verbal sense. When
mm,
you walk in the room, let's just say Jay-Z would walk in the room because he used Jay-Z. You
mm,
would immediately know it was Jay-Z. And by the way he looks, the way he carries himself, he has a certain vibe. You'd
yeah,
be like, damn, that's Jay-Z. Or
yeah.
if Kevin Durant were to walk in the room, you know it's Kevin Durant. He is tall, but
He
you
don't
know
be
it's Kevin
chopped
Durant.
though.
He don't be
Cameron
chopped.
does not
But
be.
his aura, his energy is what commands your attention.
Facts.
And
Yeah.
I say all that to say, 80% of your first impression is just how you look and how you carry yourself.
Mm,
And so if you are always clean cut to the point where not clean cut where you have cut hair, but like to where you've taken care of yourself, then that's going to be 80% of the battle when it comes to your first impression.
mm,
Because before you talk is most important than what you're actually saying.
yep.
Like for instance, me, I go up and say literally whatever to people. And
Whatever.
it doesn't matter what I say because of how I look and how I carry myself. People either
Mm,
they mess with it or they don't.
right.
There's no in between.
Right.
And so 80% of someone's first impression is just how you look. Let's start there. Number 2, from Forbes. I don't know what this dude's name. His name is Dr. Albert Menhabrion, but this is from Forbes. A
Mm,
behavioral psychologist coins the phrase 73855. What does that mean? Well, he says that 7% of communication is verbal, 38% of communication is tone, and 55% is body language / nonverbal
that's
communication.
crazy,
So you know what that means? It does not matter what you say. It's
bro.
how you say it and how you carry yourself. That's all that matters when it comes to communication.
Bro,
If you say something right and you behave correctly, that's 93% of the communication battle. Xavier, what do you think about that?
okay, that's crazy. Just because I think it tells to like when you approach somebody, you can already have some preconceived notions just by looking at that person. Whether it be, oh, he got a Gucci bag on, or he got muscles, or oh, he got this hairstyle. Like there are certain preconceived notions that you already have just without
Mm-hmm.
saying a word. And so, like the question I was gonna ask you is like, how do you approach somebody differently from you have the business of networking with your your company that you're working for versus how do you approach like someone just as a friend?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked. I'm really glad you asked. Let's get into the nitty gritty because I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. So before I answer that question, let me define something.
Mm,
So we always throwing around this term vibe and term energy.
mm.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, I define vibe and energy as the way you carry yourself and the way you act. For instance, if Xavier be like, "Yeah, I really fuck with Carlton's energy," he's not saying he fucks with how I look. He's saying like, okay, he's a good guy. We
Yes, bro.
kind of think similarly. We act a
Hmm.
little bit similarly. So I fuck with his energy because I can really resonate with him.
Yes,
You
bro.
know what I mean? And that's because we grew up in the same area.
Yeah.
We're interested in the same things,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So when a girl is like, "Oh man, he was cute, but I didn't really fuck with his vibe," that means she didn't like the way you acted. That's all that means. And so to go
Facts.
back to Xavier's question, how do I approach someone, whether it be, a friend or kind of in the corporate world or a relationship? I try to carry a vibe that I think is appropriate for the situation. So if I'm in the corporate world, I know that I'm not supposed to shit where I eat. So I'm not flirting with any of these women in the corporate
Facts,
world.
bro. That's
Any
that should be,
bro,
bro.
bro, bro,
Do
bro,
not, do not
bro.
mess with anybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
bro. Do not mess with no girls in the corporate world. Do not shit where you eat. I have done it and it has not worked out.
Never.
Trust me. Do not do it.
Yeah.
But anyways, to go on, the way how I approach a friend is going to be different from the way I approach a relationship. But the way I approach a friend is I try not to put any pressure on the situation, because when you feel pressure, you feel nervous, that energy is radiating outside of you, and the person that you're approaching can feel that energy now. And so that's why women love men that are quote unquote confident, because you're radiating confident energy, and
Yes.
women tend to be more insecure than men.
Yeah.
So if you're insecure and she's insecure, y'all are both insecure, that means y'all's energies are repelling.
Yeah.
So if you're confident and you're comfortable, now you're giving her confident, comfortable energy. Now she can fuck with your vibe because you're acting confident and comfortable. Does that make sense? I don't know if that made sense, but it made sense to me.
No.
So
100%.
when you're approaching a friend, and this is why I always coin the term, like, if you want to be in a relationship with someone, you should always be friends with them first. But when you're approaching a friend, you just need to be comfortable and be yourself and realize that not everyone is going to fuck with you, period.
Yeah. Simple as that. And that's
Simple as
hard
that.
to be okay with. Like
It's
somebody not
hard
fucking
to be okay with that, bro.
I was gonna say, so to answer that question, there's two main things that I do, and this doesn't differentiate whether it be meeting at a business meeting or you meet a girl at the club or anything like that. There's two things that I always do. The first thing is the power of somebody's name. It's actually remember this from How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's the
Yeah.
power of a name. So like whenever I'm talking to somebody, and let's just say the girl I'm talking to, a girl, her name's Stacy. I will use Stacy probably every other sentence to one establish that, like, because people love to hear their name. Like when people say Xavier, I'm like, oh shit, like you really talking about me? Like, so I will always bring up his name. So I'm like, oh Stacy, I heard that you like da da da. Oh Stacy, that's so funny. I was just talking to my friend, and so like when she hears her name more often, she's more drawn to you because she's like, all right, he's really like it almost feel like you already know her because it becomes a comfort.
100%. And that's the comfort we're talking about.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is always remember their name and repeat it often. The second thing I do is always questioning. So like there is no other subject that people love to talk about other than themselves. People love to tell you a story about how they studied abroad or what they did in college. So like I'll always start off with where are you from? And now I'm at an age to where I've been a couple different places. I'm like, oh, like I've been to so and so this club here. Like, what do you think about? And then it literally goes from there. So on the combination of using her name and then asking her questions about her life, she's gonna start to be more attracted to you because she's like, all right, this person actually has an interest in me, rather than just thinking I'm just some random girl. Like he's actually trying to establish a connection. So
I
those two
love that,
things
bro.
are key.
And I'm gonna throw in one more thing because this is something I've done subconsciously for the longest is asking a small favor. And let me preface it like this. When I was in high school, one of my closest friends, his name was Jim Wagner. I don't know if you remember him, Xavier.
Bro, we went to school together. We were in a county class. Like, of course I know
Oh,
you.
you went to UT. That's right.
Yes.
But literally every single day,
Mhm.
I asked him for a pencil. And he would give me the same pencil every single day.
Yes, bro. He was like, I got your pencil.
Yes, bro, literally. And I would give it back to him after every class, and he would just give it to me the next class. That's how we would work.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say those are the type of favors I'm talking about. Like when you going up to a girl, going up to a guy, like, and you ask for a small favor, in their head, it's like, okay, I'm doing a favor for this person, so I must like them. And so it kind of tricks their brain to say,
Yeah.
okay, I already kind of like this person.
Mhm.
And it's going to take some practice because you're going to have to, there's like a fine line between doing too much and being cool. So that it's a fine line, but when you ask people for favors, it automatically tricks them to think that they like you because they wouldn't be doing people favors that they didn't
Okay.
like.
Okay, so time out. Let's back up because let's
Okay.
just say I'm an individual and I'm not confident like you, Rashad. So I haven't even gotten to the point where I'm talking and asking people for favors.
Okay.
How can I tell just by body language alone? What are some like choosing signals that you see girls give you like when you just out, vibing with your energy?
Well, first off, if you're getting choosing signals, you're already doing way better than most men.
Yeah.
Because most men are invisible to women.
Yeah.
So the first step is to work your way up to where you can get choosing signals, whether that be getting money, getting the car you want, dressing nicely, or having a nice body. So those are going to be like the four most important things. Have an interesting lifestyle. So if you're getting choosing signals, what is a choosing signal? It's when, if you're a man, a girl kind of is indicating that she wants to talk to you without saying it. And
Yes.
that's what we call communication, because women are so good at communicating. Women are
Man.
masters of
Man.
communication. And when a woman is like, I wish she would just read my mind,
Yes.
she's just communicating with you non-verbally and you're not getting it.
Yes, facts.
That's what's happening. And as we said, 7% of communication is verbal. So she's communicating with you 93% and you're just not getting it. So those choosing signals could be anything from looking at you and holding eye contact. That's going to be the most common one.
Yeah.
The other one is putting themselves in an area around you for you to approach them. That happens to me all the time at the gym. Where you're like, okay, this girl was about to leave, but she just hopped on the bike that's right behind me or right next to me. Like, she clearly has her bag, but okay, I'll talk to her. Or like you working out, you've been, at the squat rack for a minute and she comes right next to you and kind of lingers and is doing like free weights, but you're at a squat rack. Like, you're like, why is she right
in
here?
The back.
Right. So those are some of the things that are choosing signals. There are millions of choosing signals, but I couldn't name all of them. But what you have to do is you just have to note, and I'm still getting better at this because Dion is a master at noticing choosing signals. He'd be like, you see that girl do this and that? And I'm like, I completely missed that because I'm like actually focused on what's going on.
Yeah.
But he's, he did psychology, in college. So he's much better at picking up on those little nuggets of communication. But I would say for the person that doesn't have the confidence, that's just starting out, I would say the first thing you need to do is grind to where you're confident in yourself. When you can look at yourself in the mirror and be confident in yourself, that's where you need to start. Because when you can do that, then talking to women is just like talking to another person. And that's where you need to get to where you're not nervous to go up and say things to a woman. Because even if I think here, and we're getting deep into it, but I think this is the main problem. Men put so much pressure on themselves because they're trying to get pussy,
bro,
at the end of the day. And when you stop trying to get pussy and realize that women are just another human being, it's just like, are you really nervous to go talk to that guy that's lifting at the gym?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're like, okay, I'm not going to talk to him because there's no reason for me to. But if I had to go talk to him, if my life depended on it, I really wouldn't care. I'd just be like, oh, what's up, bro?
Right.
You doing legs today? And that's it. And that's exactly how you treat women, because when you do it, you treat them like just another human being.
Yeah.
Then they see that as confidence.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's where I would say you need to start not with choosing signals. You need to start with getting your confidence up, and from there we can move forward.
And I was gonna say, like, sometimes being an introvert and like not talking it could work in your favor, because like Rashad said, I would probably say 75% of niggas will their mission is to get some pussy. Like at the end of the
Man,
night, when they're saying whatever they saying all. So you being quiet, and this is really what I do. Like when I hop in a room, I'm more of an observer because of the whole 70%, body language. I observe people, and so you really could. Cause some dudes would talk themselves out of pussy. Like they're just saying random things that
don't say
they,
some. Most.
they would talk themselves out. So by being quiet and pulling up, you've already beat like 80% of the niggas in the room, because
80%
they're saying wild stuff. They're trying to impress somebody. They're just saying things that will get a reaction, and they just want
Bro,
attention.
go into that. How people like switch up when they get around women. That
Bro,
shit weird.
and that is the wildest thing. Like, and that it goes to your whole point about like just treating women like normal human beings. Like, I remember like us in 8th grade and being scared to see the cheerleaders and like having dances and the girls on this side, and the guys on this side. Like, I get that whole nervousness, but like now we're at a point where we can treat people like human beings, and we can have like regular conversation. But there are still dudes out there that will like switch up in front of women, and you just like, bro, what are you doing right now?
You very
scaring
lame for
these
that.
women away. Like, yeah. So I try my best, like whenever I join a group, because that's more of my speed. Like when I'm trying to attract a mate, like I like to be in group settings where it can be like a mutual friend. So
And
it's
see,
more
this is why
intimate.
me and Xavier work so well, because he's a great conversationalist. He's way better at me at having conversation, but I could go start the conversation anytime.
Facts, bro.
So if it's me and Xavier on a 2-man team, I'll just go up and talk to him, and Xavier will be like, and Xavier will literally hold the conversation.
Yeah, bro. And that's another thing. You can't be scared of women, like, because it get easy. So Rashad, this happened to him, where he like going and talking to a girl, or like a dude be like, "Hey, bro, let's go talk to them girls," and then you like try to fake like you don't want to talk to them anymore. And it's just like, what are we doing here?
That stuff happened like in the last one, bro. Where I was like, he was like, "Let's go talk to him." I pull up to the table. He go over to the thing. I'm like, "Bro, what are you doing?"
You
like,
can't be scared. Like, there's
it's
just
a
human
3-on-1.
beings.
Like,
the worst that can happen, and I think this is why we're so good at it now, because Rashad remembers these shits. Southern Heritage Classic, bro.
Oh my
They gave us
God.
no response in person, bro. We were trying to go up and talk to these girls, and they no responses in person.
They literally, bro, that was the craziest. I didn't think getting no response like was a real thing in person, but we literally went up, talked to them. We was corny as hell though. I won't lie. But we went up and tried to talk to them. They literally looked at us up and down and walked away.
I was like, damn.
And you know what the worst part was? I didn't even feel that bad.
Bro, I didn't even feel that bad.
And so that's why you have to accept that you're gonna get rejected by some people and be okay with it. Whether it's a boss, manager, relationship, friend, you're gonna get rejected regardless. So this whole fear of rejection is kind of stupid. Imagine if Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, all the great NBA players were scared to miss shots. They would never shoot.
Nobody would ever shoot, bro.
And they wouldn't be great.
Bro. So, yeah. And another... So, I want to take it back to the whole question. So, you talk a lot about, getting the choosing signals. And so, now you are actually in a relationship. How does the communication style switch up from the talking stages, what we know as the talking dating stages, now to we're now like low-key intimate? How does that switch
like
up?
we're boyfriend and girlfriend, or are we still dating type stuff?
Let's say we're still dating.
Okay, so if we're still dating,
but you like her though.
But you like her? Okay. So hopefully if you're dating, if you like her, then you're kind of like established a vibe. Y'all are kind of like resonating on the same vibe. So what you have to do is you have to learn her love language, and she has to learn your love language, because I see miscommunication all the time in the form of actions in relationships.
Yeah.
Because a woman will say he doesn't love me because he doesn't buy me flowers, XYZ. But what she doesn't realize is her version of love is I would buy my dude flowers and I would do this for my guy. So if he's not doing this for me, he must not love me.
Bro.
And the guy's version might be like, okay, if she loved me, she would cook me breakfast. If she loved me, she would fold my clothes. If she loved me, she would have my back in all
Yes.
situations.
Yes.
And if she's not doing that, she doesn't love me. So both partners might love each other. They just might be loving each other differently. And you haven't figured out what your language of love is together. And that might be the biggest miscommunication in all relationships.
Yeah.
And so I think go ahead, Xavier.
Yeah, I was gonna say on top of that, like I've become adept at speaking to people when they're mad at me or when somebody's angry or upset at me, because now you are starting from a place of, all right, I'm now against this person, or this person is not really receptive to what I'm hearing. So this is a couple of things that I want to put game on y'all about. Is talking to people where you're already starting from a disadvantage. The first one is to, one, you have to put yourself in their shoes. Like, what do they want in life? So, for an example, like if it's like a business move. So if you want to come and talk to me, Rashad, and you like, hey man, I do like a videography. Like, boom, right off the bat, he is not only coming to us with how can he help us, but he's like being proactive with it. So like when you're coming to people, yeah, when you're coming to people networking or even like talking to a girl, like people love to see what is in it for them. So like starting them and putting their best interest forward will automatically catch their ear. I think the next thing you have to do is not be so rigid on or being stubborn on like your actions. So, and that's one thing that I've had to learn just in different relationships, because like there are some ways where I'm like, all right, my way or the highway, and like I'm not gonna have any other way. But you have to be open for criticism. And I think one of the most important sentences that can open up any relationship is, wow, you really taught me something. I can't tell you how many times where I'm like talking to somebody and they're like, wow, I never even knew that. I'm just like, wow, like I'm actually adding to your life. And so when you feel like you're adding to someone's life, that that calms them down, like that allows them to like feel relaxed. And you'll start to see it like in body language. So oh my, when I tell you, I have had enough experience to where I know girls in and out when it comes to body language. Like just how you sit, I can automatically know what you're thinking. So if you're coming up and you're like this and you're not really showing eye contact, you kind of fold it. This just means that you're closed off and you're not really focused. When you have a girl leaning in and like actually, don't let her hit your arm. Like when you tell
don't let her laugh.
It's over. It is over, bro. So if you are able to, establish that rapport, and that's when you get more comfortable with the girls, when you like start going to the physical touch and you start, buying gifts, you start to open up those lanes of communication. So yeah, just coming from a place of not thinking that you know everything, that's really going to open up different conversations for you in the future.
Man, Xavier just really spit some crazy game right there. I don't know if you guys got it, but I totally got it. Like he just spit some crazy amount of game. To summarize what he said, and I'm gonna go into another point because I think it piggybacks off perfectly. He's saying basically that you need to provide some type of value to other people. Doesn't have to be money.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be money.
Yeah.
But you need to provide some type of value in order to have a successful relationship with anyone. For instance, if you want a promotion at your job, and let's just say you talk it to your CEO, instead of saying, this is what you can do for me, you go up to your CEO and say, what can I do for you? That's how you start off the conversation.
Facts.
With the woman, it's always going to be, how does this man benefit my life and help me elevate? Right. The same thing for a man. How does this woman help me elevate as a man? And with me and Xavier, like Xavier provides value in the form of communication, conversation, things to do, a sponge to throw ideas off, a
Yes, bro.
business partner. There's just plenty of value that Xavier provides me, and hopefully I provide him that
Yeah,
keeps this
thanks.
relationship, synonymous
Yeah,
and healthy. And
yeah.
so when you're going up to a girl, oftentimes, and I'm gonna take it back to relationship and dating, oftentimes you're just wanting something from her without providing anything but dick, which is a commodity.
Bro.
If you're going up to women and only providing dick, which she could get anywhere, why would she talk to you? She wouldn't.
Yeah, she
And
would.
that's why you guys get flaked on. That's why
Yeah,
you guys get, rejected, because
yeah.
you're not providing any value towards a
Yes,
woman.
bro.
Now, every woman's going to be different in what she wants provided value for. So
Right.
I can't really answer that question, but you should have something in your head, whether it be knowledge, whether it be money, it can be money, whether it be something else
Mm-hmm.
that you're providing for the woman that makes her want to be with you. And so I say all that to say, look, in terms of nonverbal communication, you're going to be able to see it all over a woman's face. They're very bad at hiding their facial expressions.
Mm.
At least the women that I've talked to and the women that are in my family are horrible at hiding their facial expressions. Like Xavier said, if they're closed off like this,
Yeah, you already
like
know.
you
You
already know
already.
what's going on. If you're gonna know when a woman's interested in you because she's gonna be carrying the conversation. Because women love to talk. If
Bro.
you're having a hard time talking to a woman, what you need to do, and listen very closely, guys,
Man.
what you need to do is you need to simply walk away. Excuse yourself. Say you have to go to the bathroom. End it politely. Walk away. Cut your losses and move on to the
Oh
next girl that actually likes you.
my God. Bro.
And that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Knowing when she has no interest and walking away. Because these guys are in my DM saying, how do I raise interest for a woman? Look, you're fighting a losing battle if you're
Yes.
trying to raise a woman's interest because she has little TJ in her DMs.
Yeah,
You need
bro.
to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You need to only mess with women that are interested in you. That's why when a woman texts me or a woman calls me, or if I'm like trying to link with a girl and she's not giving me that effort in return, I just don't respond anymore. I just don't hit them up, because if they're not interested in me, then what's the point?
Bro. Like high level game that people are just gonna just run straight over, bro. Because
Bro,
it what I found out is that the dating game is not hard at all. She
it's
either likes you or
not.
she doesn't. Like it's literally that basic. And so going back to his point, like you really have to be intentional with like your actions. Like what are you doing to provide a service to really humanity? Because people love givers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love people when I was growing up, like my fraternity brothers are just male figures that would like take me out to eat, pay for bottles for me. Like they really
Bro.
took care of me because those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. Because when
Right.
you allow yourself to be surrounded by givers, and that also rubs off on you. And so people are going to want to be around you more. One, because of your aura, people know that energy, and you're providing a service and a value to everybody who you're around. But
Mm-hmm.
and that is a double-edged sword, because you get to a place where you have to surround you. If you don't surround yourself with people that are givers, you are, pretty much surrounding yourself with takers who will take everything, and with takers they know no limits. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep taking from you, and as much as you give
Give them an
out.
inch, they'll take a mile.
And so that's where establishing boundaries comes in. So like we love giving value, and we love like providing a service to everybody, but we also know that we have to establish boundaries. If you don't establish boundaries, then it allows people to run all over you. Like
Mm-hmm.
people do not respect people that don't have boundaries, because people are going to test you. She's gonna text you 3 days after she left you on red just to see if you're gonna respond. She's
So
gonna play
Xavier,
these
what
little.
are some ways people kind of reveal their taking behavior? Like, what are some nonverbal ways people kind of like reveal that behavior of being a taker?
You said non-verbal
But it
ways.
doesn't really have to be nonverbal. But what are some ways that you've noticed that people are being takers and you just kind of have to like cut them off?
Okay, so the number one thing, and I'm starting to notice like with me and Mario how people joke. because there, to all good jokes, there is some truth. So if somebody's coming up to you, oh, you big money, you always got the Gucci on, like, oh, you get all the hugs, like, I'm trying to be around you. I'm trying to, those people, you got to be like, you have some misconstrued view of who I am. And so you think that being my friend or being around me gives you access to that, which that is, it's just not. So I
Bro.
always view what people joke about. Like, if you really think, and I'm okay with people like, oh, you big money, like, that's okay, but it gets to a certain point where, you out in the club and they just like, hey, bro, like, can you pay for my
Mm-hmm.
drink? I'm like, bro, what? Like, I can't do
Mm-hmm.
that.
I
But
was gonna say that, like, you need to watch carefully how the people around you move.
yeah.
For instance, and I'm not gonna throw nobody out, so I'm not gonna say no names, but if they're listening to the podcast, they know. So this is kind of weird. But I was traveling to Birmingham over holiday break, and we were traveling in my dad's car. My sister was driving, and so there was multiple people in the car, and we were all gonna go in for gas money. Since it wasn't any of our cars, like, we were all gonna go in for gas money, because it's not just us traveling; it's a whole group. And we just asked them for $20,
Right.
$15, $20, and there was a couple of people who didn't give those $20 because they expected me and Alex to just have it because our parents have money. And the worst part was, for Christmas, my dad actually gave them money, more than what we were asking for, and they didn't take $20 out of what they got from my dad and give it to us for gas. And so that's kind of how you, because I didn't say that because I don't really care about $20, but you watch how people move, and you can't be around those type of people who are that selfish, because they'll always take from you.
Yes, bro.
And then it's $20 here, but it might be $100 later. It might be $200 later. And then next thing you know, they're swiping your car and you don't even know.
Yeah.
So you have to just, I would say, be cognizant of how people are moving around you, and you'll be able to tell who's in it for just the money and who's in it just because they actually mess with you.
And I would even say, like, even outside the money, so back to Rashad's am I tripping? Like, there are some girls in your life that, like, are only in your life because you add value. You're gonna provide them with a knowledge of financial stability. You're gonna provide them with, like, workout tips, like, and even with those kind of people, you can't give the game out free.
You can't.
Yeah.
You absolutely can't. Or it's
Like,
not worth anything.
Yes. And then that devalues you, because if you have, if you're very liberal with your time and you just, like, out here doing whatever, like, people start to devalue your time. So they start to think that, all right, I can call Xavier for 30 minutes, and like 30 minutes is now very expensive in my life because I got different shit that I got to do. I got a job, I got the money. Like, there's different things and so as you become higher value men and women, like, your time gets a little bit more expensive. And so being aware of those takers, bro, oh my goodness, bro, like, that can save you so much money. And this could be another podcast, but, like, marrying the wrong person is like financial suicide.
Bro, it's 100% financial suicide. Like, it's 100% financial suicide.
And so that's why it's so important to, like, find somebody that really likes you for you. So how are you dealing with, like the girls? So you talked a lot about, elevating the level of girls around you. How is that been going so far?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'm glad we brought this up right now. And so we talked about elevating, kind of like how I've talked to women and kind of what my energy is. And we established earlier in the podcast, I don't know if people skip around on the videos or on the podcast, but we established early in the podcast that your energy or your vibe is just the way you carry yourself and the way you act. So if you wanted to upgrade how you carry yourself or how you act, there's really only one way to do it, because all your actions come from thought. Like, thought is what starts everything, thought and language. And then once you think that, you can go then act it out. That's why the law of attraction is so important,
Right.
because you can't do anything great if you're not thinking about great things.
Facts.
So if we know that thought comes before action, the only way to upgrade your action is to upgrade your thoughts. So how do you upgrade your thoughts? By
Man.
listening to this podcast, for one, and acknowledging that you have a problem that you need to fix,
Yes.
ability, and actually having a growth mindset to upgrade your thoughts by reading books, by doing the podcast, by learning from your own experiences. That's the only way you're going to be able to upgrade your energy, through experience and other people's experiences, and actually learning from them, and most importantly, putting them into practice. I can name 20,000 guys who have the knowledge. They know what to do.
Yes.
They just do not do it.
Yep.
And we can't do anything else for you. Like, you either are going to do it or not. So to go back to the point, how do you upgrade your energy? How do you upgrade? You have to upgrade your thought process, and to upgrade your thought process is you have to have a growth mindset. So once you are able to accomplish that, then you can upgrade your confidence, and you're going to be able to talk to women. So going back into talking to women, because I have one small point that I want to state. When you're having a conversation with a girl, let's just say this is step 3. After you've already read her body language, she's interested, and you've already approached her, you're having a conversation. What you said, Xavier, was so important when you said dudes talk themselves out of pussy, because 90% of the time, the girl already knows if she's going to give you pussy or not by the way you approach her and how you look.
Mm-hmm.
And your chances are only getting worse and worse and worse as you talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
So you might think, maybe I should just go up to her and not say anything. Well, that doesn't make any sense, because now you're just weird. Now you're acting weird. Now you're completely throwing off your game.
Right.
So how do I not talk myself out of pussy? Well, the only answer is to get her to talk.
Yes.
Oh, shit. How do I get her to talk? Well, you could do 2 of 3 things. I recommend you ask her a question and actually listen to what she has to say. Because if you ask her a question about herself, she's going to be like, I love talking about myself. Mm-hmm. She's going to talk about herself. Mm-hmm. If you comment on 1 or 2 things that she says throughout her sentences, then she's going to continue talking about herself. 20 minutes will go by. Well, and then all of a sudden, she'll be like, we had such a great conversation, but you've only said a couple of things, and she's held the conversation. Okay. That's kind of like step 3. I don't know if you have any input to that, Xavier, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about. And I think the hardest part about conversing with women is what you're saying in your own head. Mm-hmm. A lot of dudes are so hung up with saying the wrong thing. They're trying to get pussy. They're trying too hard that they're thinking about this stuff and they're not actually listening to what the woman is saying. Yep. They're thinking about their thoughts and they're listening to their own thoughts while they're talking to the woman. So by the time it's time for them to ask a question or to rebuttal, as if like, because you're listening, you don't even know what the fuck she said. So you just like, now it's awkward because you're like, you can't be like, can you repeat yourself? And so you just kind of like, trying to figure out what to say, you're slow, and then you just say something weird, and she's like, oh.
Yeah, and it's instantly, the conversation's over after that.
Mm-hmm. So I would say you go up to a woman, you have the confidence to go up to a woman. That's step 1. Step 2 is to read her body language, see if she's interested. Step 3 is to turn off your inner thoughts and actually listen to what she has to say. Mm-hmm. And step 4 is to let her talk about herself. There is nothing else to do. Simple. There's literally nothing else to do.
Yeah. And at any point in that where she's like, whether she don't give you the signal or her conversation dry because she don't like you, mission abort, bro.
Mission abort. Walk away. And it's
plenty of women out here.
And if you're just say you're at the gym, you do not need to be talking to women for 10, 20 minutes at the gym. Everybody's trying to fucking work out. Yeah. What you need to do, ask 1 or 2 questions, 2 or 3 minute conversation. Get her Instagram. If you're feeling feisty, get her number too. Right. But I always just say get the Instagram first. Yeah. And then walk away. Continue to work out. Dap her up when you leave. And then just see her every day and be cool with her, bro.
Just be cool. And stuff will fall into place, bro. And that's the key.
Because one thing women will do, if they want a dude, you will know, and it will be completely obvious.
It will be obvious, bro. It will be unquestionable that she likes you. It won't be like, well, she did this one day, and then she... No.
It will be unquestionable, bro.
She will throw herself. And she will text back multiple times, like,
Bro.
"Oh, why is she acting like me? Why is she acting like me?"
Bro. And so that this, and I think what we have, Xavier, is we have a society of modern men that are trying to be, we have a society of men that are trying to be traditional, and we're in the modern stages.
Yeah.
And so they're expecting women to value them for just being men when you have to do more now. And doing more is not hard. You just can't be weird about it. And men are very weird about it. So what we're trying to do on this podcast is we're trying to educate men on how to be more modern. Not to say that traditional is bad, but if we stay the same, species who fail to adapt go extinct. So if we were to stay the same, I'm not saying we're going to go extinct, but we're not going to see the same results that they saw back in the day. So we need to upgrade our energy, upgrade our way of thinking, and move differently in the environment of modern women, modern feminism, in order to be successful as men.
Mic drop.
Period, bro.
Yeah, that was hard. It's hard, bro.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been episode 9 of the Two Black Kings podcast. Stay tuned for episode 10. It's going to be a little bit different format. We're going to be in Vegas. It's going to be the season finale.
Coming to you live from Vegas.
For sure. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for watching. Peace.